Now, you know a show, this is a perfect segue, that might not have good writing sometimes. It got better as the series went on. But is my piece right now.
It's all over my feed.
Heated Rivalry, which
I'm
is
so excited
single-handedly keeping the nation together right now.
God bless Heated Rivalry because it has banded together the girls and the gays and even some straight boyfriends to find peace in both being queer and hockey. This show
is for everyone that ever read Mighty Ducks fanfiction, including myself. So thank you.
Yes, Mighty Ducks smut. So I will go into a little elaboration if you've been living under a rock and don't know what Heated Rivalry is. Girl.
My mom even knows what it is.
My dad knew what it was. I was talking to my sister and my mom about it, and my dad comes home. He's like, oh, are you talking about Heated Rivalry? I saw that on Facebook.
Yes!
And I was like,
Mike
everyone
knows everything.
Mike Lester knows Heated Rivalry. But for those of you who don't know, Heated Rivalry is based on a book series called The Game Changers, where it takes place in the fictional world of the NHL, which is the hockey league. And it follows two hockey players that are on opposing teams, Shane Hollander for the Montreal Metros. Hollander. And Ilya Rozanov, who is from Russia but plays for Boston. And both of them are closeted queer people, and they have...
It takes place over 10 years.
It takes place over the course of 10 years from their rookie season to as they've gotten into their mid-20s. And it showcases their love affair for one another and shows the growth of them just experimenting in hookup culture to them growing to have true love feelings for one another.
So I watched the show as a joke originally because I was like, this is just Wattpad, which it is. As most people do, I was really only watching the show at first because it's, they're both very attractive people. However, episode 4 destroyed me.
It did.
Episode 4 broke something in me, and I was fully in episode 4.
Yeah.
I was fully in with the tuna melt scene when they're finally doing that awkward, starting to open up, but, not knowing, what you can say around, your, situationship versus what you can't. And then Shane getting scared and running off, and then, meeting Rose, that whole... Now, all the things she said in that episode, for me personally, the most iconic usage of all the things she said is in Anora. The budget for the intimacy coordinator was given to all the things she said in Anora. But when fucking Vanya walks into the club and pulls the hood down, all the things she said, God! Hey. But this broke me, Justin. This broke me. It broke me. It did. It really broke me. And what's funny is, it's like, I've heard someone say this, it's like, they're in this episode, they're having the conversation where Ilya's like, do you like girls or whatever? And Shane's like, oh, yeah. You could tell that motherfucker has never even thought about a girl in his life. But he was like, oh, I guess, Ilya does. And I don't know, Justin, from a queer man's perspective, do you think that not necessarily the circumstances, but do you think the portrayal of, the situationship and the feelings and, the toxic masculinity to, deciding you're in a committed relationship is realistic?
I think I would, if before the show, I probably would have said no. But actually, as the show has gone on and has become as popular as it is, we are seeing a lot of closeted queer athletes come out, which I think is amazing.
So next time any of you try to do what you did to Love, Simon or Red, White, and Royal Blue and try to say, who cares? You guys always say you don't want to watch gay people be in pain, but then anytime there's a happy gay show, you guys complain. So you honestly suck it. Stuff like this matters. Sorry.
Stuff like this matters, and I think whether it's realistic or not, because it's a romantic book and a romantic television show. It's a drama, and all of these things are more fun when there's a little sense of fantasy, lack of reality in it. But I think what is so beautiful about this show, as the show went on, was that you take a sport like hockey, which is one of the most masculine presenting sports.
Yes.
And you put on this lens of these men who are closeted, who can't come out because it's basically going to destroy their careers. And to watch these two from teenagers to in their mid-20s develop a love for one another is really beautiful. And I think that sometimes what people don't understand is actually how long it takes them to get to the point in which they are in love. Because these guys, like, the way hockey works, obviously, is you are only seeing a team 3 or 4 times a year because you're traveling to compete with different teams. So obviously Shane and Ilya were texting almost every day under their Jane and Lily aliases.
My favorite text. I'm going to score 9 goals for you tonight. Why 9? One for every inch of the dick that you want.
Ilya's lines are so good.
He is. I think he's hotter on the show, but I think off the show, I think Hudson is hotter.
I agree. I will say this. I want to commend our 2 lovely leads because when I watched the first episode, I was not that interested. I was like, I watched...
The first episode was boring.
Episode 1 was kind of boring. Was it sexy? Sure. They're really hot. So it was really sexy.
It was interesting on one hand, I
guess. It was interesting on one hand, I get. But by the end of it, I was like, oh. And it took me like a week and a half to get into...
Same. It was up until episode 4.
Yeah. So like I watched episode 1 and I didn't watch it for like another like week and a half. And then I watched interviews. They just happened to come up my Instagram feed and my YouTube shorts. I watched interviews of Hudson and Connor, and they are the reason that I went back and watched the second episode because they have the ultimate... Number 1, they're hot. But number 2, they have such star quality, star power. Their chemistry is off the charts.
I enjoy every gay guy on my feed, like, who's, like, an influencer trying to shoot their shot, thinking that, like,
either of them.
Happen,
girl, stop. Enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
But the 2 of them, when we say that there are 2 people, like, when you're talking about roles and you, like, oh, anyone could have played them, I actually don't think anyone could have played these 2.
No, I don't either.
I actually think, like...
I thought what's-his-face actually was Russian. I was kind of shocked.
I was shocked that Connor Storrie was from Texas. And then I remember...
He's from Texas?
He's, I think, from Texas, yeah.
Icon.
He sounds Russian.
He does.
His little YouTube intro.
Diva.
Hey, it's me, Connor Storrie. Yep, it's me, Connor Storrie. I love him. Queen. That is a queen.
I think the thing that me and Justin... And honestly, this is a battle called Hannah versus all of the queer men in I think Scott and Kip are so... boring.
Oh my god.
And every queer man I know is like, no, like, how dare you? Like, they are so much better. You only like Shane and Ilya because they fuck. No, I like Shane and Ilya because they don't communicate.
And that's sexy.
And I am a bisexual woman, but as a woman into men, I can get into the non-communicating thing. This is my story of my life is not communicating.
Non-communicating
obviously, I like it.
Yeah.
But you and your boyfriend especially, like, love Scott and Kip. And I'm like, they're so boring. Their only thing is the smoothie shop.
So I've had this conversation with Hannah before. We had it over text. I watched the show. I've watched it twice now. I watched it once by myself, and then I watched it once with my boyfriend.
Has he finished it?
We finished it together.
Does he like it or no?
He is still on the fence about it.
There's no women, really.
There's no women. He loves Svetlana and Rose. He's like divas. We'll get into those divas in a sec. But I liked Scott and Kip, and I've explained this to Hannah. The reason being, number 1, they're also hot. I at least view them as very hot. But also...
hot. Anyway.
But I thought that they were hot. But also, their storyline, which also, if you've read the books, they are the main storyline of the first book. And Shane and Ilya are, I think, the second book. Game Changers starts with Scott and Kip, but they had to interlock them in this story because, spoiler alert, if you haven't seen the show yet, go watch it. Scott's coming out is what influences Shane and Ilya to move forward with their relationship. But Scott and Kip are a very healthy representation of how a queer relationship could work. When they actually, especially when someone else is in the closet, they speak to each other. They obviously love each other, but also they understand the circumstances that one another is under. And Kip, as a character, being the only out queer man, as a queer man myself, we can all relate to Kip because we've all had that one guy who isn't out and they really like you, but it's a very difficult situation to be in because you don't want to be kept this secret. So I did, but Scott as a character is this very loving, beautiful, kind character, but obviously just can't give
the
Kip...
The concept of meeting your soulmate because they're your barista. Like, when is that going to happen to us?
When is it? I know.
I mean, you have your boyfriend, but when is that when is that going to happen just in general?
I know, like,
who meets their fucking soulmate as their barista?
Not even just their soulmate, but their hot-ass hockey soulmate. Like, that man, like, someone said...
Okay, hold on. My Instagram feed, Hudson Williams photo shoot.
Williams photo shoot.
The hockey one.
Jesus Christ, girl.
He's messy.
But
he's
I live.
He's definitely going to get canceled at some point, but I don't
care at this point. Really, he's so funny.
He is.
But Scott and Kip I like because they're a healthier, more realistic relationship of how queer men are. And also to take into effect, Scott and Kip are both a little bit older than Ilya and Shane. And I think that's why a lot of queer men like Scott and Kip because... There's over
the nonsense of like being in your 20s.
Yeah, there's a relatability to Scott and Kip. Whereas I explained a lot of women love Shane and Ilya, which is completely understandable because the way Shane and Ilya's storyline goes is it's very romantic and like star-crossed and very dramatic, and it represents a lot of like very popular women stories like that women love, like Romeo and Juliet, Pride and Prejudice, Sense and Sensibilities, Wuthering Heights. It represents a lot of those books that have this yearning, wanting, like romantic feeling. So Shane and Ilya are like these star-crossed lovers, and I think that's why women love it. I also think that because they are younger, women love, like female fans, and also gay men love this too. Yeah. Is they love someone that they feel like it's like, oh, that's baby to me. Like, there's a lot of that.
What? No.
No, what? Oh my God.
I don't know anyone that
does that. Oh my God,
no.
Really? Like, people love to be, like, overprotective of... And I think a lot of... Gay men included, but a lot of female fans are very overprotective of Shane and Ilya in the best way possible, honestly. And I think it's very sweet and charming that is the effect that these two characters... as queer men have on a lot of straight people.
And what's funny about that is, like, think about, like, Rose and Svetlana.
Yes.
Like, the emotional, like, heavy lifting for these guys. Like, they are their, like, support system. Like, they do feel protective over them.
I know.
And they have these very, like... I love Rose and Svetlana, and I like how different those relationships that Shane and Ilya have with them are.
Yes.
Like, Svetlana in any other world would be Ilya's soulmate.
Yes.
Like, they have a casual, like, you know, relationship where they fuck every now and then. But Svetlana knows without him having to tell her.
Yes.
That there's that she clearly knows about Shane.
She does.
Without speaking, and I think there's something to be said about that. And then with Rose, with Shane, like, obviously, like, she fell hard with someone who was like, Shane experienced queening out for the first time. Shane learned the concept of friendship and thought he was in love, which
I know, really queen.
Real.
What a queen.
Rose right away kind of realized that was wrong, and she approached him with such kindness and empathy. And gave him a very safe space, like, being like, hey, like, if I'm off base, like, that's okay, but, like, I want you to know, like, it's okay. Like, I'm here, and, like, we can still, like, I'm still want to be in your life. And I think that is how it is. Like, I know, like, with, you know, my two straight girlfriends were the first people that I came out to in high school. And I feel like the straight lifting, the heavy lifting that straight women do for their queer friends cannot be understated.
I think...
especially queer men,
especially queer men. Straight women deserve a lot of applause. I know, like, there's a lot of nasty gay men out there who want to, like, put down straight women in certain circumstances, like, for like, being too much or something. And I've never had that experience because all of the straight women in my life, my mom, my sister, my closest friends, they were the people who are there for me the most. They are the supporters. They want to understand
He's not gay. Stop asking.
He's not...
But, like, it's true. It's true.
It is. The straight women in a queer man's life are some of the most important people, and they cannot be understated. And having Svetlana, Rose, and even Elena for Kip,
who is the one being like, I don't want, like, I want you to be, like, happy, like, I want this figured out. I think there's so much to be said about that even in a show about queer men, the women are doing the emotional heavy lifting.
One of my favorite scenes, and actually every scene that the women are in, I love.
Same. I was kind of hoping Svetlana was going to have a three-way with them. I was a little disappointed, but
that's okay. Maybe
next season. I hope her and Rose get together.
I think one of my favorite scenes is when, and I'll go back to Scott and Kip, because Scott, when they're at the gala and Elena takes Scott aside and they're dancing and she's like, he loves you, and he's like, I love him. He's like, he's also miserable. Like, she just tells it like it is. And the ending, I think this is so romantic, and this is maybe why. She's like, he deserves sunshine. And then she goes, puts her hand on her shoulder, and so do you. And then when they come out, when he kisses for the first time, they have that song playing in the background.
Yeah.
I think it shows how important she is to Kip. That is his best friend.
Yes.
And she plays no fucking punches. And I appreciate that. And I know none of my straight girlfriends play any fucking punches about me.
And I think that it's sweet, and I think that but I know, like, you know, women always want to complain that these shows are, like, anti-women, whatever. Like, or, like, you know, I will admit.
I think that's another reason.
Will the show would have been as big if it was about lesbians? No. Like, and that's because people do hate women, and there is something to be said about
absolutely.
that.
Misogyny is big.
But I think the gay showrunner of this show clearly recognizes how much women mean to their gay friends. And I do appreciate that, because there is a lot of misogyny that can come from gay friends disguised as, like, a joke. But I feel like on this show, it's very... I will say, though, Ilya was low-key unserious to me when, like, they were at the cabin and Shane was texting Rose and he was like, what are you talking about? Like, girl, they were probably talking about, like, I don't know, like, the new episode of fucking Summer I Turned Pretty. Like,
yeah, like, they were just talking, guys.
Like, I can't.
You can text Rose Landry.
Yeah. Literally. The drama. The drama. Episode 4. Oh.
Episode 4.
The gag of it all. Like, so good.
The
Jocelyn,
light.
back to your fucking Shane and... What are they? Oh, Shane and Kip? Or,
Scott and Kip?
I'm sorry, gal. I'm tired. Scott and Kip. Shane Dawson. Imagine
where's our podcast
Where's Shane and Ryland being in the... Oh, Dramageddon's going to be an episode, trust me. Where's Shane and Ryland in this? Shane would go on Instagram like, being like, guys, I'm so happy. I don't usually talk about politics, but I'm so happy. As an empath, I really appreciate seeing this as a... Does he still identify as bi? Or do we not?
I think he does.
Ryland doesn't let him talk about it publicly.
Well, that's biphobia at its finest. Ratland. That I miss your old Twitter.
Ratland. Fuck.
Ratland.
Sorry. Ryland Adams will never be famous to me.
I feel like he's not
famous in general.
He's not famous.
Trisha, when she was like, Ryland, nobody knows who you are. Nobody cares. In fact, I never really cared, if I'm being honest with you. It was in my head run free.
Connor France about
No, Connor France. Yeah. If my job is being boring, your job is being nothing. You know what? That's literally Scott and Kip talking to me.
Yeah. What about Scott and Kip you were going to say?
I was going to say you hadn't finished your tangent about them not being boring.
Oh.
They are, but they're just in a healthy relationship.
I think that's why a lot of people, because there's drama in a sense behind them, but it's very minimal because Scott is a little older. Kip is, like, I think supposed to be, like, around our age, and he's going like to grad school, and so he has kind of his shit together. But I think that's why I liked them, because there was, like, a sense of, like, this is an adult relationship. Not that Shane and Ilya's is not an adult relationship, because they are adults, but Scott and Kip...
There's too much, like, immaturity.
Because they haven't come out yet. Scott and Kip, where Scott has not come out yet, I think he is understood where he lies with his sexuality. Like, if you read the books, actually, I believe Scott in Game Changers, every summer he would go to, like, these countries where they don't know about hockey so that he can meet men and fulfill, like, a fantasy that,
Yeah, we'll read the books.
Maybe you should. 7 of them.
Yeah, well,
some good shit.
Apparently Scott and Ilya are together in real life, and people are angry and saying that it's... Now, the straight women that are mad that Scott and Ilya are together in real life because Scott is 40 and Ilya is 25 That's barely an age difference for the
gay community. You guys don't understand.
Also, like, fucking get over it.
My favorite thing that people's... Number one, I actually feel bad for a lot of the hate Francois is getting. Because he actually is actively getting a lot of hate. And
it's interesting because he's the only one that's out.
I know, which I feel it's very a little homophobic.
It is homophobic, yeah.
And so if you are hating on Francois, Shut up. But my favorite thing is that, like, it's a lot of people being like, he's cradle rocking, which... Connor's Storrie's 26 years old. But, like, the gay men are like, he can rock my cradle whenever he wants.
Literally, the gays do not care. The gays are like...
The gays do not care.
Yeah, no, like, it's so stupid. Like, it's grown adults. Now,
Connie's Storrie is 26 years old.
Now, if
also, we don't know if this is true.
If Francois was, like, 70 dating, like, fucking Jerry Mitchell or whatever in Boop, like, that, him and his boyfriend, look that up. Like, that's different. Sorry, not to use full government names. Or even, like,
we had to watch the Tonys last year, girl.
And we were like, is that his son? And then we were both like, no, I think your boyfriend literally was like, is that his son? And we were like,
yeah, right. No, it's not.
Now, look at Tom Daley and Dustin Lance Black. Dustin Lance Black met Tom Daley at the Teen Choice Awards. And he was like 19 and Dustin Lance Black was like, I think like 39. Like that's gross.
Weird.
Like that's gross.
But Connor's Storrie is 26 years old.
Like it's not like...
It's not that serious.
You guys
his frontal lobe is
developed. Like touch grass. Touch grass. Quite literally touch grass.
Yes. But Scott and Kip... Where was I going?
Are boring.
Shut the fuck up! Sound off in the comments. Do you think Scott and Kip are boring? Get this trending.
Your boyfriend's gonna comment. No, they're not boring. Hannah's being a hater.
Yeah, thanks, boyfriend. But I think the show. Oh, the books. If you read the books, Scott actually I think goes to a place like Spain, which don't have hockey, so people don't know who he is, and he gets to kind of just fulfill this life that he never gets to have, and he just dates men for a period of time, and then he goes back and lives his life. Which this is my sound off for some of the young queer people out there who like to kind of disrespect the older queer generation.
Yes.
Which sometimes pisses me off.
Oh, it really pisses me off.
It really pisses me off. The show takes place, I believe, in like around 2008. So think about in 2008. There was not that much queer representation, that much. We were in a time when fucking Brokeback Mountain came out and people were giving it massive amounts of shit for getting nominated for an Oscar, and we only had Heath Ledger being like, shut the fuck up, and defending the queers. That was the time when this book started taking place.
Yes.
So imagine someone like Scott Hunter, who is this hockey player in a time of misogyny.
Gay marriage wasn't legalized for another 7 years.
So now you have this man who can't really be himself, so he has to go fulfill these fantasies that he can't fulfill in real life.
Now listen, again, I respect the older queers. With that being said, snooze fest.
Okay.
I think we're gonna have to just maybe see.
Well, also think about when Scott and Ilya were young. They were what, 18 in 2018, and they were rookies in 2000 whatever, and this spans until what is this end? 2017. The last episode is in.
I think
what was gay marriage legalized for 2 years?
2 years.
It may not be legalized for much longer in this country.
It is valid. I also feel like, I'm sorry, but I don't hate the fact, like, I am someone that agrees that, like, sapphic-led shows don't do as well, because they don't. And personally, like, for me, like, as a sapphic woman, like, I do prefer sapphic media, like...
Absolutely.
Naomi and Emily on Skins, and then Brittany and Santana on Glee.
Love it.
Like, best. Made me in who I am. However, like... I will genuinely... My mother is going to listen to this, so Mom, I'm sorry. I will never forget being 13 years old and seeing Paige and Alex kiss on Degrassi. I had never seen two girls kiss before, and my pussy exploded. Like, that changed something in me. I was like, no fucking way. Like, I can literally quote the entire scene where Santana comes out to Brittany by heart. Like, I was one of the people pissed as all hell when Lexa died on the 100. Like... I love sapphic representation. However, it never does as well as queer male representation. So I do understand all the lesbians getting mad about the fact that the show is doing so well, where lesbian media such as The League of Our Own flopped.
Yeah.
With that being said, though, we should just be happy.
We should be. I do agree, especially as a queer man, I understand that the struggle of being represented in media, but I also understand that queer women are just not as represented in media, and it's a huge problem that we need to fix. And I think that comes from queer men. You need to rally around... What?
Bow and Yang.
As we've seen in the past 2 weeks.
I always have to throw shade.
I think we threw shade the last episode, too. And
we did, and I would just like to get my apology from everyone in my life who has always said to me, you hate Bow and Yang for no reason.
That podcast proved it.
I'm never wrong.
You're never wrong.
Never. I'm never wrong, so...
But let's shine a light on our sapphic sisters.
We should.
Queer women need more representation in a positive way. And it does get frustrating to see something as lovely as Heated Rivalry or Red, White, and Royal Blue, or even some... Heartstopper's a little different because there's queer women on Heartstopper, but you see...
But also no one cares about...
But yeah. Like you see these shows with these queer leading men dominating, and shows or movies or media about queer women are never
the main character.
They're never the main character, and it's very frustrating to watch at this point.
Which is why I liked The 100 so much with Clark and Lexa, because it was very unstereotypical. They did present Lexa the way they would like a typical like male love interest, and the why I was so angry when they killed her. What I want to say that I also think is the problem, listen, there's a lot of biphobia out there, but I feel like I can say this as a bisexual woman who tends to prefer women. The other problem, I don't know how to say this because it's going to sound so bad.
I'll help you.
I feel like a lot of issues with the sapphic community is, and I see this on dating apps all the time, a lot of women... Okay, I'm going to say it like this. If they want a show about two women as essential characters to be successful, they have to be young and hot, like Shane and Ilya. Like, I'm sorry, like, I understand, like, that we need more, like, or, like, very femme presenting. Like, I do, listen, I want more, like, butch representation in the media, too. But realistically, the only way you're going to get to people to watch the show is if it's very conventionally attractive people.
I agree. And I think that we look... And this is also, like, I think it's a huge problem in just how social media works.
Yes.
How media works. Honestly, how the queer community works. We are always uplifting.
We're so vapid.
We're incredibly vapid. And we are always looking towards these very obviously unrealistic obviously people. Hot people. And this is not calling out the people who are a part of these medias like Hudson Williams or Connor Storrie or...
But they are,
they're they're hot.
Like, Connor Storrie's body is, like, that's, like, the ideal, like, body that all the gay men want.
He's gorgeous. And he works hard for it.
He does, and this is no shade. A big issue that I run into on dating apps a lot of the time is I don't tend to match with women that much because I look too, quote-unquote, straight. Like, I feel like most of, like, gay... And I'm really treading on thin ice here. Queer women, I feel like a lot of the times want a more, like, mask-presenting woman.
Yes.
A lot of the time. Or a lot of queer femme-presenting women are more, like, quirky and, like, are very into, like that TikTok that's like, oh, like, why do all polyamorous people look like that? Like, that type of thing tend to be what I feel like we see more on the apps. And I feel like that is... At least in New York, where I live, that is very much the lesbian and bisexual sapphic dating scene, is that.
Yeah.
And that is very true to life.
Yeah.
That is very, very true to life. With that being said, though, I think for, like, a main street... Like, listen, if Heated Rivalry was about two bears, do you think it would do well? No. It's the same thing. If we want a show to do well, we need to stop trying to find, like, the quote-unquote perfect... Like, that was why that show Looking got canceled on HBO, was because all the gays were like, oh, this is unrealistic.
Yeah.
Like, fuck off. Like, it's not all about, like, like, I feel like every time people are like, oh, people are too pretty and they complain, I feel like that's such a stupid excuse because look at shows like The Vampire Diaries.
Yeah.
Or, like, anything on the CW. It's like all those people, all the straight people are unrealistically pretty. So why can't we as gay people have that to make the show succeed?
And I think the thing is...
You can still talk about the complexities of being queer and have both the leads on a show be young, hot women. Now, are you going to deal with gross straight men watching it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you are, but I also think there's a way around that.
I think also one thing, and I've spoken about this before, with certain types of queer media, is that we as the queer community are we're a small percentage. We do not have the numbers that straight people have.
No.
So for certain shows to get picked up or to get greenlit or to become popular, they have to appeal to straight people as well.
Yes.
And that's a hard thing that I think people don't always understand, is that you have I'm going to use one of my favorite shows of all time. I'm going to use Sex and the City. The show is unapologetically, like, for the 20-something to 30-something women.
Yeah.
But gay men love it.
They do.
They love Sex and the City. I love it. It's one of my favorite shows. Heated Rivalry is made for the 20-something-year-old gay men, but women love it. Mm-hmm. And there's a reason for that. It's because both of those shows, Sex and the City appeals to both men, gay men and women, and also other people as well. And Heated Rivalry does appeal to, in the writing style and the format style, and obviously the way that the show is presented, to both gay men and women. And that is what we have to look at when doing a multitude of different projects, when we want to get queer people visible. It is not bad for straight people to like queer media. That's actually what we want.
That is what we want. And, like, this is what these, like, new gen, like, fucking liberals, leftists, fuck you at my roommate, I hope you're listening to this, have to... They always want to disrespect the hardships that elder queer people have been through. And my biggest example of that, why I get so angry, is... we need straight allies. And I think that is something that gay people and queer people in general don't like, I think, when straight people ask questions. They're like, they'll be like, Google it. Or, I'm not your fucking dictionary. Or, like, this and that. The only reason you have any rights is because of straight people.
Yeah.
That is the only reason, is because of straight people who can pass laws.
Yes.
So, shut the fuck up. We need straight people to like us, especially in the state of this country right now.
I am an incredibly, like, political person. Mm-hmm. Just in my everyday life. And if people, whether it's my coworkers, even my parents, my friends, anyone wants to ask me questions or understand something in a better light, even if they ask me in probably what's an inappropriate way,
yes, I
correct it and I answer it. I say, hey, we can say it like that, and then I will answer the question, because if I come across as cross or angry, or then they're not going to learn anything.
It doesn't help your case.
Doesn't help my case, and they're not going to learn anything. I want to change people's perspective, and in my life, I have changed people's perspective. Mm-hmm. Not even just like my very, like, close family or friends' life, but just people that I know in general have learned different things because
you're willing to have a conversation.
I'm willing to have a conversation.
We all need to be willing to have conversations.
And look. Also. I know as a queer person, I get exhausted about answering certain questions. It gets very sometimes inappropriate how some people ask, and we can have our boundaries. But if people are just curious about something and how something works in the queer community, it's not bad to answer. Mm-mm. And again, I understand burnout happens, and it's hard to explain things to people. But at the end of the day, we need to explain things to help change people.
Agreed. And I think we need queer shows that appeal to straight people. And the reality is, straight people like pretty people.
Straight people love pretty people. And I'm sorry, queer people like pretty people too.
They do, and if they say they don't, they're lying.
They're lying. Girl, I've been on these dating...
shallow all these motherfuckers
I've been on dating apps, and trust me...
The body standards for gay men specifically are...
is insane.
Awful.
I mean, I obviously I don't have the physique that someone like on Heated Rivalry has. And I'm not, like, body phobic about them. Maybe many years ago, maybe I would have. But people on dating apps are looking for, like, people who look like that, which is crazy.
It is crazy, and it's unrealistic, which is why dating apps are a disease and have ruined the world. Especially for queer people.
Yes. But at the end of the day, like, sexy sells.
Sexy sells, and we need shows about our community to help our community.
This show, whether you want to admit it or not, whether you've watched it and liked it, whether you've watched it and disliked it, has put so much conversation out there by just existing.
A show about a bisexual and a gay man in a relationship being the most talked about show in the country, even more so than Stranger Things.
Nobody
in the middle of
Trump's
Trump's second administration is the importance of that. At the end of the day, even if season 2 sucks, even if they get canceled, whatever, you cannot take away the importance of that. You can't. We need that right now.
We need that right now.
It was like when Love, Simon came out during the first administration.
Yep.
People tried to take that away from us, Justin.
No, and you can dislike certain aspects of certain shows, and I'm not asking you to like anything. I love Love, Simon. It was a pivotal part of me coming out because Nick Robinson. There's going to be a whole podcast on that, man.
Oh, yeah.
Not on the teacher, though.
No, we're not talking about a teacher.
We're not talking about a teacher. But that movie, yes, was made with a very straight lens for a queer community. But
we needed it.
But I needed it. People our age needed that at that time because we just did not have the representation.
We had nothing.
We had literally
nothing.
And at the end of the day, when I was in that movie theater and the couple in front of me who were in their 50s were crying at the end of the movie during the Ferris wheel scene, and they kissed each other. That was how you knew that movie was important, because those men had not had the representation that they needed, and they were probably in their 40s or 50s, and they felt good.
I took my mom to see that movie when I had first come out. Like it things like that you can take your parents to.
Yeah.
Like the scene with Jennifer Gardner on the couch. Like that scene is important.
It is important.
I am so tired of queer people trying to dictate like what's good representation. Nobody does that for fucking straight people.
Exactly. I showed that movie to.
I mean, Amelia Perez, but that
we don't talk about that.
Yeah.
We don't talk about Bruno.
No.
I took my grandmother saw Love, Simon and loved it, and as a woman of her time and definitely had some odd opinions, to see her love a movie about queer people at a time when I wasn't out to her and was hoping to have that conversation with her, it was important to have. And this show is probably, Heated Rivalry is probably that for someone out there right now.
Yes, 100%.
It is absolutely so. As we've seen, like I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, many queer people who have been closeted in sports are coming out and talking about it.
But you know what, Justin? I guess people just don't care, because I guess it's not, it doesn't feed. I was gonna say it doesn't feed their agenda, but I don't even know what the fucking agenda would be. I think that
what is the agenda at this point?
The agenda should be getting equal rights and safety and feeling safe. That should be the agenda.
Hey, and if a show about sexy hockey players is going to get me that agenda and get the representation we need,
I'll take it.
Without
complaining.
I'm taking it without complaining.
And yeah, I think that we just need to remember a little more about how close our rights are to be taken away, and how we as a community should be celebrating something like this being as big as it is, especially in such a horrible time in this country and in this world. Yes. And I don't know, I'm happy that it's so popular. Even straight people in my own life are watching the show.
Yeah.
And feeling a little more understanding and compassionate. And I think that cannot be understated. Yes, the men on the show are very hot. Yes, that's why we all watched it, and I'm not going to deny that. However, like, we need it. We need that in the country right now.
And I think at the end of the day, the discourse I've seen on the show and some of the wonderful comments I've seen people leaving about, like, people obviously analyze and dissect the show. Mm-hmm. And yes, we came for the hot and sexy people, but I think people left the show emotional. And I think that's what was important. That there was an emotional feeling about these queer characters, and there was an emotional connection with them. And I think that in a world like this, where people don't want to make emotional connections with queer people anymore, I think that is what's very, very important.
I agree. So shout out to them. Shout out to you divas.
Shout out to Connor, Storrie, Hudson Williams. You are our divas.
Hudson Williams, call me.
Yeah, please.
We will be watching season 2.
I'm very excited. I'm excited to see what they...
Is it going to come out in 5 years? Probably. Honestly, probably.
That's a great round out for whatever happened with Stranger Things because...
And Euphoria.
Euphoria.
We'll have to see how that is.
I'm
a little worried they're going to, like, erase the fact that Rue is a lesbian.
Yeah.
I'm a little worried
about that.
Jules being a sugar baby, Maddie owning a strip club, Cassie being an OF model. Like
Euphoria season 3 podcast is going to go hard.
It is. Sam Levinson hates women. We've been new.
I'm not shocked by this by now.
But guys, like, you'll be here for all of our... We'll do a mid-season and an end-of-season Euphoria review.
Absolutely.
Just for you. Jacob Elordi will be looking hot. Zendaya will be acting her ass off. Those are my only solid predictions.
Yep. Emmy nomination for Zendaya again. Mother. That is my mother. Mm-hmm. And you will be here on the podcast for all 6 movies that Zendaya is coming out with this year. I will be seated. But thank you guys for listening to our podcast. We started with Stranger Things. It's probably going to be 2 episodes. Mm-hmm. So I apologize if when you listen to it, it's cut up in a very odd way. But we just had so much to talk about today.
We did.
Our next podcast we are going to be doing is going to be on award season.
The first 3 major ones. So, like, the Critics' Choice, Golden Globes, and SAGs. Or the actors, sorry.
The actor.
So that's what they're calling it now.
I hate that.
So we're doing a little, like, when I saw the actor nominations, I was like, what the hell is this?
I hate change sometimes.
The Oscars being on YouTube starting in, like, 2028 or whatever.
Gutter. This is my Super Bowl, and the Super Bowl would never be shown on YouTube like that.
It would never be shown on YouTube. So we are going to dive into that on our next episode, and then eventually I'm sure we'll do our Oscars recap, including our Oscars party recap.
Absolutely.
We're also going to be doing an, Am I the Asshole? My Crazy Roommate deep dive at some point on the podcast. Jesus. Justin's finding this out now, but...
Wow, goodness. I'm ready for that.
Get ready for the cease and desist.
This podcast is about to get wild.
Imagine.
Okay,
guys, thank you so much for listening. We love y'all.
Love you. Bye.